That's right, I can't do it anymore. I'm selling this boat and going home. But that's only because I'm having another boat built and I gotta wait till that one gets done. So I've had almost my 90 days now. I got, what is today? I got exactly 1 month left and I have to leave the Med because of all the Schengen rules. You get 90 days, then you gotta get out. I'm selling this boat and it's still plenty of time for one of you guys if you wanna buy it and you wanna cruise the rest of the summer in the Med. Man, you can take over the boat like first week of August, go cruising. You get 2 or 3 months cruising around in Greece. So let's make it happen. I'm gonna give you a full in-depth tour of the boat, all the upgrades I've made, everything going on. This boat is ready to cruise around the world. It's water maker, generator, solar, grill. It's got a dinghy. I mean, this thing is set to go. New refrigerator, new cockpit cushions, new spinnaker, all that stuff. New beds, all that. If you want to go ahead and inquire about the boat, I'm asking $75,000 for it. You can go to sailingdoodles.com, the contact me page, send me a message. You could take possession of it as early as like August 4th, and then you could sail around the Med for the rest of the summer. I would highly recommend doing that. I do have a survey that I can send you from when I bought it back in January, and if your insurance will allow you to keep that survey and use that one instead of having it done, great. If not, you can have your own survey. That's up to you, but let's give you a tour. You guys know that I'm traveling around the Med all summer, and one of the things I think is important to do to help you get like immersed in the culture is to speak a little bit of the language, and that's why this video is sponsored by Babbel. I like to learn at least just the pleasantries, like the hello, thank you, like you know, con mucho gusto, donde está el baño, you know, be able to like basic communication skills so you can get by and be polite. And at least you're trying when you're speaking to the natives and they appreciate that. Learning a new language is not that hard. It's just little steps at a time. Just 15 minutes a day, and in 3 weeks you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. I can just sit there while we're sailing 15 minutes, do a lesson, and I do that every day. Even if you're not sailing a boat, just pop a little beach towel down there, lay down on the beach 15 minutes while you're working on your tan, boom, you're starting to speak a new language. And there's a money back guarantee. 20 days, you don't like it, you get your money back. So there is a QR code that's been up here, or there's a link down in the description. And right now Babbel is running a special. You can get up to 60% off your subscription with Babbel by using my QR code or my link. So thank you to Babbel for sponsoring this video and helping me to learn Spanish. They can help you too. Lots of times I start the tour on the outside, but tonight I'm gonna start this tour on the inside of the boat. I've got it all clean and everything here. So coming forward to the bow is the main cabin. Pretty wide here. You put your feet down there so you can kind of both, two people can lay kind of on each side. So I think there's plenty of room for two people here. I did have this mattress replaced. So these cushions here are like the 4-inch thick foam, and brand new, well, everything's brand new. The cover and all that stuff is brand new. Lots of storage space on either side here. You needed to store more clothes or whatever you need. There's plenty of room up here to put here on either side. Your closet here, have a couple shelves on this side, and a decent size hanging locker. You know, that's just all my clothes. You could fit more clothes in there, you know, maybe some smaller hangers or something. I added this fan. It's works really well, and it will oscillate. So, you know, it gets you air wherever you need to go. And then it has more locker space over here. Excuse the underwear and everything, but you know, space for more clothes there. And there is a little bit of storage under the bed too. With this hatch right here, gets a lot of airflow, so it stays nice and cool up here. And if the sun is too much, you got these little shades. Now it's nice and dark in here, so you want to sleep in, put this on. But so this is the main cabin, and we'll go back into the salon. Okay, back here in the salon, you have this seating area here, kind of the dining table. This table will go down and kind of sit in between there, and you have a couple more cushions you can put on top, so you can make this into a berth, like a double berth. There's storage underneath all these cushions. So underneath this forward cushion is the hot water heater. It's pretty big. It does, the thermostat on it is not working properly. It just gets too hot. Like, it's just too hot. So what I normally do is like, on the engine, it's fine. It just heats up, it's fine. So it does engine heating as well for the hot water. But for electric, I just set a timer for like 45 minutes on my phone or whatever, and then turn it off. Storage all behind here. Cabinetry here with more storage. So there is a lot of storage on this boat. And then underneath this cushion right here, a little portable freezer. You can do a refrigerator if you want, freezer, whatever you want. I've been putting ice in there, although I don't have it on right now because I don't really need it. but it does have, you know, it's just kind of one of those 12-volt portable refrigerators, kind of like an Engel or whatever. It's a different brand. I'm not sure what brand it is, but it works pretty well. On the other side, just a little settee with more storage underneath both cushions and behind them as well. It's kind of where I hang out if I'm just watching TV or something. I'll put my laptop right here and I'll lay back here. Now, if there's going to be 2 people or something, you could put your laptop over here and both sit at this dining area. But lots of storage again. I got all my electronic stuff here charging. The nav station, you know, this lifts up. You can store whatever you need under here. And come here to the electrical panel. I just kind of make this my office here. Storage for books and stuff here on this side. Your electrical panel here, this is all your 12-volt and your 220. So it's a European boat. It's got the water heater controls, the battery charger controls. I'll turn that on. Actually, that's for like the for the generator battery. Your AC power switch here. You control your freezers and everything, your refrigerator, all that. And then kind of your master breaker panel here for, you know, you can either select, you know, the inverter or shore power. The way I normally run it is I just have my inverter running the 220, and then the shore power will is connected to the inverter, so it'll either take power from the batteries or shore power. So like right now, I am connected to shore power, so I've got shore power coming into my inverter, but all the outlets are run on the inverter, and that's just like when I do disconnect from shore power that I don't have an interruption in power. And then a battery monitor right here. You can either select battery 1 or 2. It'd be your house or your engine batteries. This is your old, I'm assuming, I don't know if it's a nav text. I've never turned it on. I don't know. So I don't even know if it works. I'm not even gonna mess with it. I don't know, it doesn't need it. The stereo works fine. It's not Bluetooth. It'd be pretty easy to change your head unit if you wanted to. But I've just got these cables here. I've got one for Type-C connection and one for you know, your iPhone connection. So you can just plug it in and run it off the aux cable. And then your radio here, which is also connected to the one at the helm station. But yeah, pretty functional, and yeah, it's kind of where I do my work right here. Another thing here by the nav station, this is the diesel heater controls. It's a Webasto diesel heater. You can turn it on and off here and control the temperature right here. It's warm enough right now, you don't need it, so I'm not turning it on right now. All right, moving aft just a little, you have your hanging locker here. I just keep, you know, sailing jackets and life jackets and wetsuits and stuff in there, as well as my underwater camera, you know, umbrellas and stuff like that. And then you have more storage under here, or I got the ditch bag and first aid kit in there. All right, coming back into the galley, a double sink here. You know, storage underneath, that's where I keep the trash can, and then more storage for pots and pans under there, plus for utensils and kind of a junk drawer under here. A really big top loading refrigerator that works really well. I just replaced the refrigerator compressor, brand new, like 2 weeks old, not even 2 weeks old. So it works really well, it gets really cold in there. It's all kind of in one thing, it's really deep, you can fit a lot of food in there. The freezer works really well. I put frozen or chicken in there, and it'll freeze, as well as I put an ice cube tray in there, and it will make ice in there, and it keeps everything else nice and cold. And the nice thing about the top down loading is, like, you don't pay a big penalty when you're open, right? Because when you have the drawer type, as soon as you open that, all that cold air just seeps right out the sides. Whereas this, you know, with the top open, I mean, you know, you're not letting all the cold air out, it's staying inside. There's no air conditioning on the boat. I mean, you don't really need it. I mean, sometimes it gets a little warm during the day, but that's what I have this little fan for here. I can just set it on and that'll do me just fine here. And, you know, it doesn't get much above, like, I mean, 90 would be a hot day here in Greece. So I use this as my pantry, keep all, like, you know, pastas and stuff in there. You know, cups and, you know, coffee mugs and utensils there, and then pots and plates and all that stuff live here. And still a little bit of storage up top, you know, for spices, and, you know, I keep the eggs and tea and all that there. Over here to the gimbaled 2-burner stove and oven, works really well. I haven't had a problem with it. It gets nice and hot quick. Okay, over here into the head, I kind of like it because it's got, you know, the head is wet in here with the shower, but it's got a door right here. Sorry, there's people next door, so I closed that when I was taking a shower earlier, so they weren't peeping on me. You know, so the shower and the toilet is separate from the sink right here so that at least this part stays dry and that part gets wet. And then back behind here, well, I've got some luggage storage in here right now, but you can store all your cleaning supplies, and then your water maker controls live in here as well. It's still pickled, and I haven't turned it on. I haven't used it because, I mean, as far as I knew, it worked last time. It was, I think they tested it. They tested on the survey, I'm not sure. But, you know, here in Greece, you don't really need a water maker, and I've just left it pickled because I've only got another month on the boat, and then, I mean, I'm in a marina most of the time, honestly, because it's like $8 a night to stay here in the town quays and stuff, so it's pretty nice. And then behind the mirror here, this also folds down. You can keep your, you know, toiletries and stuff. All right, coming back into the guest cabin, you know, you can fit 2 people in here, I think. It would be maybe, I mean, you could fit 2 people in here. It wouldn't be too bad. And the reason that it's a little smaller than usual is because this box right here is the sound box for the Kohler generator. I'm waiting on a part for it right now. It's got a sensor. It's gone bad. So it should be this. I should have the sensor soon, but I don't know if I want to open it. Yeah. So that's the Kohler generator right there. So as soon as I get that sensor back, it should work just fine. It's only got like 600 hours on it. It's the sensor that went bad is the coolant pressure switch. So the raw water coolant pressure switch just went bad. Here I just have a little piece of foam put in here just for sound, because the inverter lives back here, as well as your main breakers and your solar panel chargers in here, and the battery disconnects, the windlass controls, autopilot controls, and your generator stop and start, and as well as I have my Starlink set up in here. And then also the nice thing is all the back of this comes off, so you can get access to the back of the engine as well as the side panel, and then the stairs come forward. I'll show you the engine in just a moment. Behind the generator are the batteries, and then the engine batteries are underneath here, as well as the fuel tank is underneath here. So the batteries for the house bank are brand new, 230 amp hour Bosch sealed batteries, so no maintenance on them. So you have a total of 460 amp hours of batteries, and you know, with the generator and the solar, that should do you just fine. You should be good. And then over here you have, you know, storage lockers for your guest cabin. And I also installed another fan here with an oscillation, so keep you nice and cool. All right, so back behind the stairs is the 40 horsepower Volvo Penta motor. I believe it has around 2,300 hours. You got your battery controls and your buses and everything there, your strainer. It runs great, no problems at all. It's a bit noisy at the marina area here, but I'll give you the outside tour as best I can. Just a side note here, it's $18 a night to be here with power and water. Pretty cool. That's why I love sailing around Greece. It's so cheap. So the first thing you see on the back is this big kind of dinghy arch here for the solar panels and the dinghy, and that the passerelle will lower off the back. And so what you can do here is, when you're actually going to be underway or sailing, you raise the dinghy all the way up so it's away from the water. The motor goes on a separate mount over there. I'll talk about the motor in a minute. So then the dinghy's out of the way. It doesn't swing too bad because the motor's off it and everything. When you get to the dock like we're here now, if it's a high dock like this, you lower the dinghy and you put the passerelle over it and you hang it out, so you just walk straight out here. You get lots of clearance. Now if it's a really low dock and there's not enough room to put the dinghy down there, you can keep the dinghy up and put the passerelle on the bottom step going to a very low dock, and then you have to duck a little bit to get under the dinghy, but not too bad. On the solar arch, there are 4 solar panels, a total of 340 watts. You know, if I were going to be on this boat long term, I'd probably replace those with 2 modern ones that are about 400 watts each, and then have 800 watts of solar. There's enough room for it. That's what I do. But you know, if you're just doing a season, this will be fine. Okay, all the equipment on the back here, this is originally a 4 horsepower, still says 4 horsepower in the back, Suzuki, but the carburetor was changed out. The only difference between the 4 and the 6 horsepower on the Suzuki is the carburetor. So the carburetor was changed out for the one that goes on the 6 horsepower, so now it makes 6 horsepower. So for the dinghy, definitely 1 person getting up on plane, 2, you know, I'm not sure. Haven't really had 2 people in it, so. But you know, you still probably get around okay. And then it's got its own little mounts for it. And it also has its own little davit right here for, you know, raising and lowering the engine, the motor. It makes it just a little easier. You know, you have somebody helping you out, lower it or straight down in the dinghy. That's what I do. Another thing on the back, you can use this however you want as a rescue line. It's just like a little braided nylon line that you can roll out the back. You can. What I've seen people do is use it as a shoreline. So if you know you're kind of med moored to the shore, you can back up using your anchor and run this line out the back to the shore. And then over here, that's definitely what this is for. It's another shoreline on a spool here, so it makes it really easy rolling it in and out when you're trying to med moor to the shoreline, or you've got to run a really long line off the back. Also on the back, I haven't used it, but you got a gas magma grill. The little canister, it's just one of those camping gas canisters. You hook right up to it and you got a grill. And next to that, you got a little mount for your stern anchor, or a Fortress aluminum anchor, so it's nice and light so you can swim it out there. You can attach it to this line, swim it out, or take the dinghy out, so that way if you want to point to the beach or into the wind, whatever, you can do that. It does have a life raft. I have no idea how old it is. I haven't had it inspected, but it's there, better than nothing. If you would like to have it inspected, you can do that. Next to me here is the swim ladder. Folds right down, and yeah, getting out of the water, getting in and out makes it pretty easy. And then a life buoy right next to that. I do have a couple of these big ball fenders for when you're backing up into like a seawall med mooring. You put those down, so if you go a little too far, you're not going to bang the boat. You may wonder why I'm flying a Polish flag. Just a registration thing. It's an easy place to register it in Europe. It's like $400 flat rate, never expires. All right, the dinghy is not new, but it's in decent condition. It's all inflatable, so it's an inflatable keel and inflatable floor. It holds air just fine. For the med here, yeah, you don't dinghy around a whole lot. You're generally med mooring like I am right now. All right, into the cockpit here, I had all new cockpit cushions made with kind of the Greek flag style thing. So I think it looks pretty cool. So they're all brand new, just had them made. You can unzip them and wash them if you want to. You know, maybe every 3 or 4 months if you get a little dingy or something, you unzip them, take them to the laundry, there you go. This thing, the transom kind of comes up and folds through here, so you have your nice seat. And then I've got another cushion that matches this that goes right here, but it's downstairs inside. And then when you want to be able to walk through, you just lower this back down, out of the way. Under the aft stern seat are electrical connections, storage for extra fuel cans and everything. There is the transfer switch lives under there to go from shore power or generator. It's like I said earlier, this is pretty uncommon for a 37-foot boat to have a generator. It's really nice having that. Next to that are your engine controls, like I showed you earlier. It's Volvo Pinta. Runs well, starts up first time every time. Haven't had a problem with it. On the other stern seat here is your propane locker, although they don't use propane here, they use camping gas stuff. I don't even know what it's called, something else. But it lives under here. And then it's got the bottle for the gas grill in there too. Okay, at the helm station, everything works. So you got your radio, your wind meter, compass, depth and speed log, all that stuff, and the autopilot. It does have a wheel pilot. Works just fine in most sailing conditions. If it's getting pretty rough, blowing 30, 40, you might want to be hand steering because it may not keep up with it. But in normal conditions, it does just fine. The chart plotter, it's an old Raymarine A50. I mean, I kind of use it, but mostly I just use it for like speed and general information. But I kind of navigate with an app on my phone most of the time. And then it's got a little mount here for the windlass control so that I can control the windlass up and down. It works great. The buttons are kind of worn out on it, so you might want to replace those. I just kind of use a pencil eraser right now to do it. But if you want to have those buttons replaced, go for it. This seat folds up and down. You get it out of the way if you want. I normally just kind of leave it up. Just kind of use it and it folds out. There you go. The lazarette on this side, on the starboard side, it's pretty decent size. I keep all my extra dock lines and water hoses and fins and sail bags and cushions and stuff on this side. Nice having that much storage over here. And I'll take you to the lazarette on the other side, which is huge. The lazarette on the port side is absolutely huge. I can stand all the way down on the bottom. My head's like right here. This big because it's only a 2-cabin version, right? So normally you might have another cabin back here if you're having a 3-cabin. But because it's only a 2-cabin, which, you know, if you're not going to be doing charters or something, that's what you want on this boat. You're not going to have 6 people on this boat. Lots of storage down there as well as your holding tank. Extra, so these are sunshades that go off the back. I don't have them on right now. And then this bag right here is your enclosure. Your Bimini and Dodger are in great shape. The isinglass is relatively clear and soft and supple. And I just kind of fold this out of the way when I'm not actually sailing, you know, just give more space here. It's got these sunshades that come all the way around, so all around the back, so you can lower them down and they kind of attach to the lifeline so that you can keep, when the sun's like, you know, late afternoon, you want to keep that sun off you, works pretty well. And it's got a full enclosure for like when it gets cold, like full enclosure wraparound all the way, so that in the winter time, if you're living aboard in the winter, like, you know, and it's cold, you can keep this thing zipped up and it's nice and warm in here. So that you can use this space in the winter time, keeps the wind out and everything like that. And that enclosure is in very good condition. All right, coming up here to the lines, all lines run aft on this. So you can basically, you can do everything you need to from the cockpit. Probably need to get some more labels on here for these clutches. But you know, you got your main sheet and your travelers and your halyards and your reefing lines. It's single point reefing. There's 2 different reef spots on this sail. You do it all from the port side here, and then you got your jib furler and your spinnaker halyards on this side, and your topping lift and all that. But you can do it all from here, and then 2 manual winches. 2 manual winches back here, also for your jib sheet, your Jeanneau sheet, and I actually will use this also for the spinnaker. I just attach a block to the cleat back here and run it back, and it works great. All right, so let's move forward a little. All right, this boat has 2 water tanks. Honestly, don't know how big they are, but 1 person lasts a week on 1 tank, right? So I think you're doing okay if you have 2 people. You can go at least a week on the water. Yeah, plus there's a water maker on the boat too. I just store the boat hooks here on this side. Your mainsail right here. The sail bag itself and the lazy bag system and everything is in excellent shape. This is, the stitching's in good shape. I think it's relatively new. The mainsail itself is a little bit old. Honestly, it still has like the Jeanneau symbol on there, so that might be original to the boat. But it works just fine. So whoever's had this has taken care of it. Hasn't like left it out in the sun. You know, could it be replaced? Yes. Could it get you through 2 or 3 more seasons? Yes. That's just depending on what you want to do. Back here at the mast, it's got these mast steps all the way to the top. So if you need to be climbing to do something to go to the top, you can do it without having to be pulled up by a halyard. I would still recommend wearing a harness and having someone belay you, basically, you know, and I use them just to get up there and do a little stuff, like I don't have to go too high. Pretty nice paddle board is included with the boat. I'm not taking it with me, so you get to have it too. The previous owner left it for me, so I'm doing the same. And here is the turtle bag and the spinnaker from Precision Sails. That's negotiable in the sail. I may need to return it to Precision Sails, but if you really want it, let's talk about it. For me, having a nice asymmetric spinnaker for downwind sailing is a must on a boat. Just makes it so much easier and more enjoyable to have a spinnaker on the boat when you're sailing around. The chain locker, it has at least 100 meters of, I believe that's 5/16 chain. The windlass works great. The only issue I have is that, you know, this boat was probably originally designed for like 1/4-inch chain, and you know, the person who originally fit this boat out did a great job. They did a lot of good things to it. Putting the 5/16 chain is just a lot different chain, bigger chain, and so it does tend to castle. And then it's got a Rockna, pretty big. It's probably 25 kg anchor. Works really well. The Genoa, I would guess it's probably about 110, 120% Genoa. It's in excellent shape. I would not replace it. So that is the full tour. I think I hit all the upgrades I've done to the boat. I've spent probably about $10,000 doing things like the cushions and some replacement parts. Like I replaced all the lights with LED, so like the navigation lights are all new. Replaced some, you know, some of the little things that were on the survey that need to be done. I did those, like replace the gas lines. I did that kind of stuff. I can send you, if you are really interested in the boat, I can send you a copy of the survey that I got. If you'd like to get another survey, like if we agree on a price and everything and you want to get another survey, no problem. Otherwise, I can send you that one. Your insurance will probably accept that. You know, there's some other upgrades I did, like I replaced the refrigerator compressor. That's brand new, just so I don't have to worry about it anymore. A bunch of other little things that I've done. So I put about $10,000 into it. I bought it for $65,000. So I'm asking $75,000 for it. Probably need to do this pretty quick. If we can agree on something quickly and get the transaction done the first week of August or something like that, the boat will be in Athens and you can pick it up there. If not, then I'm gonna have it back in Lefkada, which is actually a great place to go cruise, honestly. And it's a good place to kind of get familiar with the boat. So whatever you'd like to do. So go to sailingdoodles.com. There's a contact me page. Put Carmel is the name of the boat in the topic if you can. And let's get this done pretty quick. So I imagine, I don't know how many people are interested, but I imagine a few will. So good luck to you. And it's a great boat for cruising around the Med or the world, really. This boat is set up to go around the world.